Welcome back to this demonstration of how to make your Google Slides more interactive. We're going to cover backgrounds part 2. And this is, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the things in your presentation inaccessible that shouldn't be accessible. Just to give you an idea of when this would be useful, in my previous school, we did distance learning this spring, and I was in 3rd grade teaching geometry. And one of the standards is being able to define shapes by their attributes. So I put in a T-chart and had all these different geometric shapes. The students were supposed to drag and drop based on their attributes, where the shapes would go. Thinking it would be really simple, it ended up being kind of chaotic because all the things that I inserted onto my slides presentation, the students could move when I didn't necessarily want them to move them. For example, the T-chart, I wanted that to be frozen in place so that the students could drag over the T-chart. But every time they went to put a shape somewhere, it would mess with the T-chart, and then it was really overwhelming for them, which we want to try to avoid as much as possible. So this is really, really handy in a situation like that where you only want your students or your viewers to have access to what you want them to have access to. For example, on this slide in the how to change your password slideshow, even though I've inserted text boxes and my Bitmoji and these little graphics, if you click on them, you can't do anything with it. The only thing that you can do something with is the hyperlink. And you'd have to click on the words and it would redirect you to where I want you to go. So what you need to do is, first of all, finish your slide, except for the hyperlink. The hyperlink is going to go in after we freeze the background so that we can let students have access to that. So I have made this intro slide that I'm going to turn into a frozen background. So what I'm going to do, everything's finished the way I want it to be. I'm going to go to my File tab. I'm going to download this slide as a PNG. Once it downloads, it's going to come down here. I'm in Chrome. I think when Safari, the downloads come up in the top right, but in Chrome, they go to the bottom left. So now that I have this downloaded, I'm going to go back to my background, and instead of choosing an image off the web, I'm going to upload an image from my computer. So I'm going to browse, and I can look into my downloads and find the one that matches 810 and make sure it's the right one. Or you can also, from this bottom bar, drag and drop. I'll show you in the next one. Okay, so now it's done. But I just applied the background to the back of this. My text box and my Bitmoji are still layered on top until I highlight them and delete them. Okay? I'm going to show you again on another one. Let's do on this one. Nope, let's not do on this one. Let's do on this one. So I have my corkboard. This is just information that you passively will read. I will have this home button be a hyperlink. I haven't inserted my hyperlink yet, though. I want this to be a frozen background. I don't want my students or my viewers to be able to do anything with it because they don't need to. So I'm going to go back to File. I'm going to download this as a PNG. It's going to show up on my bottom left. I'm going to go back to my background tab. We're going to go up here to slide. I think you could press this to replace image, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. So instead of going to the web, or I could browse my computer if I don't have it accessible, but if it's accessible like these are, I can also drag and drop this, and it'll automatically upload. Okay, so I have the background behind all of these fun things. So I can still, like you can see, I can still drag this pin, but the frozen one is behind it. It just like layers right on top. So I still have to go through and select my text boxes. You see how that one's the frozen one? I still need to go through and delete these. You can drag, you can click, hold it down and drag across.